name's Karen Granger and today I'm presenting to you joint tenancy versus tenants in common. Joint tenancy can be defined as a form of co-ownership. Each owner shares ownership equally and the principle of survivorship applies. If one owner dies, the other owner acquires the deceased owner's interest automatically. Joint tenancy applies to real estate, shares, furniture and bank accounts, and it's most common in marriage-type relationships. Tenants in common, each owner holds their share of the asset outright. Ownership may be uneven, i.e. A may own 60% and B might own 40%. Ownership doesn't automatically transfer to the other owner if one dies. On death, deceased's share becomes an asset of their estate and is dealt with according to their will. Typically for business assets or non-marriage relationships. So we'll go through an example and address each line item. Ron and Mary are 62 and 60. They have a couple of kids and a few grandkids. Ron and Mary own their own residence, held as joint tenants. They jointly hold two bank accounts, a cheque account around $10,000 and a term deposit of about $500,000. Their car is in Ron's name, and Ron owns a rental property with his sister Sue. So if we talk about their main residence, if Ron was to pass away, as it's held joint tenants, under the survivorship principle, Ron's share would automatically transfer to Mary. The same is with their bank accounts. Because they're jointly held and again under survivorship, Ron's share would automatically transfer to Mary upon his death. There is a point that if Ron had made provision for a testamentary trust in his estate, with the idea to have half of his half share of his term deposit to go to that testamentary trust and pass on via that for his children, that testamentary trust would be ineffective because that bank account is jointly held, and again that survivorship principle overrides the testamentary trust. A way around that would be for them to hold that term deposit half each in their own separate term deposits, and that would allow Ron to have his share go via that testamentary trust in his estate if he was to pass away. Their car is in Ron's name. Because it's solely in Ron's name, it will become an asset of his estate and dealt with according to the will. And Ron owns a rental property with his sister Sue. Well, it comes down to how is it held, joint tenancy or tenants in common? The question is, how do you know if it is joint tenants or tenants in common? Refer to the title. This is a common title held here in Victoria, and it refers to tenants in common. And this one in particular says 1/8 of equal undivided shares as to 7/8 of equal and undivided shares. So that's an example of a title, and that shows you whether it's tenants in common or joint tenancy. So back to our example. If Ron and Sue held their rental property joint tenants, if Ron was to pass away, his share would automatically transfer to Sue. If he'd intended for this to go to his estate and passed on to Mary, it wouldn't be effective. If that property was held tenants in common, Ron's share would become an asset of his estate and dealt with according to his will. The question also, as part of this, is can it be changed? Yes, it can be changed. Very simple process and completed by a solicitor. No major costs involved, just the solicitor's fee and a government charge. No capital gains or stamp duty apply as there's no change of ownership. Well, thank you for watching our YouTube video. If you want to know more, you can contact me at Grant Taylor Partners, Karen Granger, on 0353824761. Alternatively, you can access us on our website at www.granttaylor.com.au. Find us on Facebook, Grant Taylor Partners. Also, if you'd like to join our mailing list, this can be done via our website, again, www.granttaylor.com.au. Thank you.